Hey guys, what's up? It's your girl Nikki, and I honestly can't even believe that I'm recording right now because one, it is 9:22 p.m. I need to go to bed. Okay. So what am I doing turning on the mic? We all know how long I can go once this puppy's on. But also, if someone took an inventory of just the last 48 hours of my life, it would shake them to their core. How much I have talked in the last 48 hours, and the fact that I just now was like, I'm kind of bored. Should I just talk some more? Like an introvert, especially a male introvert, I would say. Someone who like genuinely can go a couple days with just maybe a mumble or two out their mouth, it would send them in a cardiac arrest. They could have a stroke. Let me just go over the last 48 hours with you. I have had a very productive weekend. On, let's see, so today's Tuesday. Wow, oh my gosh, already Tuesday. So let's go back to Sunday, all right? Sunday, I talked so much because I was recording a lot of video content for my sex ed podcast, The Virgin Sex Educator, on Patreon. It should be linked in all my bio stuff on Instagram. I should probably add it to this bio. Yeah, I'm gonna figure out how to do that. Um, okay, I'll put that on my endless to-do list. Just add that to the empty promises bin, okay? One day, when I have employees that I'm paying, they're gonna go back, and you want to know what one of the first assignments I'm gonna give my employee will be? It's gonna be, I'm gonna need you to go and listen back through every single episode of my podcast, and I need you to fulfill all of my empty promises. Every time that I said, why don't I do that? Or I'm going to do that. Or I'm going to post that on Instagram. Don't worry, guys. It'll be on the gram. Every time I said that and did not follow through, that will be their first item, on the to-do list of what they're going to do for me. I'm going to pay someone to do that one day. And oh my gosh, it's gonna feel good. I can finally rest at night. Because for the most part, I am very type A. Like, I get a lot of stuff done. If it is on the to do list, eventually it will be done. It will be. But as a true type A girly who is just, very busy and has a lot on her plate, as we all do, you do have to admit to yourself you can't do it all. So, as well intentioned as I am, the things that have to get done will always get done. That is one thing you can rely on with me. It will be done if it has to be, if it needs to be. If there are multiple people relying on it, yeah, the post will be made, the video will be recorded, like the thing will be posted. It will absolutely happen because I am driven by responsibility. I absolutely am. But if it's something like this where I'm saying, like, you know, me promoting myself, it would benefit me definitely to put my link to my Patreon on this podcast. But I'm kind of, it's that's gonna just fall to the things that are eventually gonna be on my list. I wish it was more of a priority to me to like follow through on the things that would only benefit me, but yeah, it's just not how my body and brain are wired. If it's gonna benefit other people, I'm much more motivated. Absolutely. And then you have your people that are very self-motivated. I'm just not that girl. I'm not. So, one day I will post on Instagram every day and like gain some huge following, and I'm going to post my links and people like that. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. That version of me will bloom. But for now, I'm just trying to stay afloat. I don't know. I'm just trying to fulfill all of my commitments and promises I've made to other people. That's really what I'm trying to do with my time and my energy. So I'm going to have the intention to post the Patreon link onto my show notes, and you and I together can go and look at when this is posted, and we're going to see if I did it. Honestly, that's going to be kind of fun to see if I do it or not. Which, speaking of, the captions and stuff, please tell me you guys are reading those. Because that I do spend way too much time on. Because I find it enjoyable. I find it to be a giggly good time to come up with the captions to my podcast episodes. I do. I think I'm so clever. I think I'm funny. I try and make you laugh. A lot of times you do need the context from the episode itself. So I do recommend, maybe read it when the episode is complete, because then you'll have all the context of my jokes that I was making, because I do it based on kind of if you've listened to the episode. Of course, I'm trying to promote it and like tell you to listen to it, but it makes it just that much better if you've already heard the episode and then you read the caption. Oh man. Or maybe you read the caption and then you listen to the episode and it makes the episode even funnier because you're like, oh my gosh, I can see where the caption came from, Yeah. All right. We were reviewing my last 48 hours. Okay, you know what? Wait, what time? We're like 6 minutes in. I should probably play my intro song at some point. Yeah? Let's do that, and then we'll start it up at the top with my schedule of what I've done over the past 2 days. Are we kidding? Oh my gosh, I love that. This is a warning to all of you introverts out there. This might be alarming to you. This might leave you unsettled, hyperventilating, stressed for me, but just know I was built for this, all right? I was built for this schedule. So, Sunday, we have church, which we love. Okay, we get up, we go down for breakfast, we're chit-chatting in the kitchen, then we go to church, we do the talky talk there, then we come home, and I recorded hours worth of content. Probably, oh gosh, maybe like 3 or 4 hours worth of content for my sex ed podcast, the one that may or may not be in the show notes. So my sex ed podcast, I was recording all about what is sexology, because I'm doing a series right now, which is my top 20 questions that I get. So I was doing, because that one's just like a basic one, everyone's like, what the crap do you study? I'm like, you know what, let me make an entire presentation on this, because I love to talk about it, for one, but also it's extremely interesting. And I think even though a lot of my questions that I do answer on there is like, why do I have pain during sex, and like different arousal patterns and different stuff like that applies to everyone, even though this question in particular is niche to me and it's just a question that I get because of my degree, I do believe in my heart that there are other people that would be interested in what I have to say, and you would be shocked at the amount of careers that involve sexologists. You would be so surprised when I talk about forensic sexology, okay, crimes, sexual crimes, and the rehabilitation of perpetrators and the help and recovery for victim survivors and lawmakers. That is sexology. And there are sexologists who that's their entire career. Just to make it, even more notable, just barely recently, it was very exciting. There was an entire conference recently about non-fatal strangulations, which you're like, what the heck? Choking, okay? Like people who are into choking, which some people have defended it for a very long time as like, oh, well, that's just like a kink some people are into. Okay, but who is primarily doing this? Well, it is first-year college students, and it has been causing deaths, and it's also been promoting violence against women. When you have a bunch of 18-year-olds choking women, but saying that it's sexual and that it's hot, to cause violence, and it is remarkably not, what am I trying to say? It is remarkably easy to kill someone by choking them, and it's so fast, and a lot of times it is an accident. But then it's hard to tell, when was it an accident? When was it on purpose? And so, anyways, this has been a discussion in the sexology world for quite a few years now, and I had classes on it. Actually, this last semester in my forensic sexology class, we had an entire 3-hour class devoted to non-fatal strangulation and talking about the laws and the discussion around it, the studies that have been done. This is a really big topic. And then just a couple months ago, in England, they made it illegal. So there's like different laws now for choking during sex, which is so awesome and profound because it really is perpetuating violence, and it's a really dangerous thing. And the defense against it is quite strong because it's like, well, what right do you have to tell people what they can and cannot do in the bedroom? So it's just interesting. It's so fascinating. And these conversations affect laws. And it's amazing. Although that's not the side of sexology that I am on, it's still endlessly fascinating to me. And of course, I'm on the education side, so I talk about it. I teach you all the things about all the things. So stuff like as simple as that, where people have no idea. And there are sexologists that are key witnesses, and that's their job is, they testify in court, and they are hired by lawyers to talk about this specialty area. It's amazing. It's so cool. So I recorded a video about that. I also did the science of orgasm, which is a presentation that has changed lives and will continue to do so. Like, I can't even tell you the amount of lives that I know this singular presentation will change. It makes me so giddy to think about it. It will blow your mother effing mind, okay? The science of orgasm is when I get probably my most nerdy. Oh, I have like MRI scans and like all sorts of like amazing things, and I'm like, this is what's happening with your blood flow. It's crazy. This is why this is so important. Oh my gosh. And specifically that presentation is the science of the female orgasm, because the male orgasm, although there are some similarities, there's actually a lot of really cool differences, which I touch on, but I think I'm going to do one at a later time, like the science of male orgasm. But for now, ladies, I'm always looking out for you first, okay? Because you are a lot of who I work with, you and your husbands, your very dear, sweet husbands. But yeah, a lot of who I'm primarily approached by most, it's probably like a 10-1 situation, is women. 10 women for every 1 man that approaches me. But I will say, I don't know, can I say this? Can I tell you a little secret? I actually love working with men, because it brings me so much hope in the world when a really good man is asking me questions, and I can tell that he's asking them because he wants to make a better experience for his partner. And that is just so amazing to me. I love that. I think it's amazing. And then especially when single guys, when they are brave enough to come and talk to me. I was in a conversation just like last week. This guy, he asked me, okay, what's one of the number one things men get wrong when they're dating? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's a great question. So I was talking to him about, should I tease it? Should I tell you? Because I decided I was going to take that question and answer it on my sex ed podcast. So you know what? I'm going to tease it. I'm going to be annoying. Go listen to my Patreon. Go. Ladies, it's so cheap right now because just you wait. Just you wait. Once I'm not in grad school anymore and this is my full-time thing and I devote all of my time and my energy into it, number one, the quality, I'm already trying to make it as good and amazing as I want it to be, so that's already there. But right now the price does not match the quality. The quality is like freaking amazing, and I'm pricing it so cheap because I just don't have the time to upload, like consistently like I want. It's kind of just on my own schedule, and so I'm just making it available right now. Even in its imperfect, in a perfect world, I would have like all 20 questions already uploaded and everything, but now I'm just kind of uploading as I'm able. But in 6 months' time, that price will skyrocket. And I am wanting to do a kind of like grandfathered in type of situation where if you were with me from the beginning and you supported me long before I got famous, because I will, I want to reward those people that have been with me since the start and have believed in me and keep them at as low of a price. I don't know about this price right now because it literally is like pennies to what I can charge. But it will still be I am 100% planning on doing price tiers where if you are like friends, family, or like OGs, people who subscribe to me from the beginning, you will absolutely be at a different price bracket than everybody else. 100%. I am loyal to my core, okay? I am so here for those that believe in me because you are the ones that make all of this possible. So I want to do everything in my power to make sure that I show how much I appreciate that. So all of you amazing people that sign on to my Patreon now for literal pennies, just know it will go up a lot. A lot. For perspective, right now, I think I'm charging like less than $10 a month for my Patreon subscription. And like everything's accessible. That will be changing. Once I get back to Utah and I am doing my thing, it will be going back up to the pricing that I had when I was back in Utah, which was, just for perspective, I was getting $150 an hour. So, when people would book with me, it was $150 an hour. If you were like a friends or family or something like that, I would usually charge like anywhere from $50 to $70, depending on what the appointment was. But yeah, $150 an hour was like my baseline price. So just know things will be changing in the upcoming future. And at the end of the day, like, I know that what I have on there is valuable and I want you guys to have it. I do, but I also have to make a living, and we know this. I've talked about this before, like how uncomfortable it makes me feel to like charge things that I know I'm worth, but also like it's so stressful. It's so scary, like putting yourself out there, being vulnerable. And then also, like, I'm a broke girl, so I understand other people being like, listen, I can't afford it. I understand. I get it. And I want to do everything in my power to, make it possible and make it accessible to people. So I really am going to try. And I do a lot of speaking engagements for free. A ton, okay? If you want me to speak to your Relief Society group or just your group of friends, or, I do a lot of that stuff for free. And I have big plans for doing different, like, sex ed trivia nights, for, like, like $5 or $10 tickets. So I've got big plans. We're going to make it happen. There's going to be other ways that you can access my information, because at the end of the day, I would give all of this away for free. Absolutely, 100%, because it makes me so happy. And also, I see the way that it changes people's lives. And my lesson on the science of orgasm, I want you to know, I spent months making these slides. I spent months thinking about what information I wanted to tell, because I do this all the time, but I wanted it to be the most in-depth version that I could possibly have, because I'm like, if people are paying for this video, I want them to have it all. I want them to have so much information that they need to watch it like 3 or 4 times to digest it all, because it's like that good. That's what I wanted, and I'm really happy with the result. So yeah, I recorded quite a few videos. I think, was this yesterday? No. So this was on Sunday. Okay, so I recorded like 2 videos on Sunday, all right? Then Monday happened, and here in Australia, it was a holiday, so I didn't have work. So I woke up early, early for a holiday. I woke up at like 9:30, which for me is actually insane that I did not sleep in until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, because I have not slept in weeks because I work 7 days a week now. It's, yeah, I'm tired. It's expensive over here in Australia to pursue my dreams. So yeah, anyone who thinks like I'm some rich person, not yet, I'm not. Not currently. I am the poorest I've ever been. But I'm a hard worker. So I work 7 days a week now. And I have not been able to sleep in forever, but I did sleep in. But even then, I was so motivated by these videos. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't waste this day. So I got up and I recorded a video for I think like an hour and 15 minutes, and it was all about male and female bodies and like how they actually work. And that's one of my favorite lessons to teach, because once we have the basics, which like nobody knows, because even just, you do not learn this stuff in sex ed class. You do not. And especially Utah County, we like didn't learn anything in sex ed class. So all of it's new information. But even for my people that were not raised in Utah that did have sex ed programs, they still are like, holy crap, I learned so much. So I recorded that one and uploaded it. And then at 12 o'clock, Courtney came over. You all know Courtney. Had her on the pod. We love Courtney. Courtney came over. And from 12 o'clock until 6 p.m., what did Courtney and I do? We gabbed. We yapped. We just talked for hours from 12 noon until 6 p.m. It was so ideal for me. So we just chit-chatted away. We, started on the couch, and then we were like, should we get some exercise and walk and talk? So we went out for, like a 3-mile walk, chit-chatted there, came back, sat down on the couch some more, got some snacks, made some popcorn. Not one time was there like a lull. It was just gab, 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 yap, yap, yap. Oh my gosh, my cup was filled. By the time it was 6 o'clock, I was like, wait, no, there's so much more to be said. So she left at 6. She had to go home. And then what happened? At 6:10, my friend Marina came to pick me up. And where did we even go? Oh, yeah. So we drove and we went and got gelato at this place that I have been thinking about for the past, I don't even know how many weeks since I got gelato there. Because I do not go out very much when I'm here, because I don't know if you caught the whole 7 jobs part. I don't really have a lot of extra cash hanging around, because I need I need 7 days of work. Sorry, not 7 jobs. I'm on 5 payrolls, so I only have 5 jobs. But I work 7 days a week because it is very expensive. My tuition, all of it. You all know the story, and if you don't, go back and listen to my journey to Australia. Your jaw will be on the floor. So anyways, I don't have a lot of money to just be spending eating out, but the other night, a few weeks back, like a month ago, I got a gelato. I treated myself and I got a gelato, and I've thought of that gelato every day since, because it was so good. It was so delicious. So we drove 30 minutes to go get this gelato. And we chit-chatted the whole time, got the gelato, talk, came back, and then we hung out for another 3 hours. Just talking. Just chit-chatting away. And by the time that she left, I was like, that was my perfect day. That was so perfect. I did my sex education stuff in the morning, and I hung out with 2 friends that just absolutely fill my cup. We had so many things to say. I laughed, I cried, I was just so happy. And that was just yesterday. So, Sunday happened, then Monday, and then today, I had work all day, and then 15 minutes after I finished work, it was a crazy work day. I was constantly on the phone, so I was talking a lot, but less fun conversation. Then I drove to go see my friend Cameron. Oh, shout out to all these people. Cameron and I trauma bonded at FSY, and which is a youth camp that we were both counselors at. We'll talk about that. Well, anyways, we went and we chit-chatted, and then I came back after talking with her for a few hours, and I was like, oh my gosh, you want to know, I just need to talk some more, you know? It's one of those things. I wonder if this is what runners mean when they're like, well, I was just like running, and after like 5 or 6 miles you can just kind of go for another 5 or 6, like you just go. Can't relate to that, but I do feel a similar way about talking. Sometimes I just hit my stride. I just hit a flow state, where my mouth just doesn't want to be closed. My thoughts and stream of consciousness needs to be vocalized. I feel it like just deep in me and my bones. I'm like, this needs to be out into the ether of the world and like just the intelligence around me. And really, I'm just moaning on about nothing, really. But it makes me happy. It does. And I can just imagine someone like my dad, who is so introverted and can easily go an entire day without uttering a single word. That I think the last, what are we at, 26 minutes made him need to take a nap. Like, he does not listen to this podcast, but if he did, I think he actually would have tuned out at minute 5. I think he wouldn't have even made it until my theme song. I think he would have been tired just from just that first 5 minutes of me talking. But the girlies who get it. And the boys who get it, oh my gosh. I'd love to meet one. I'd love to meet him. Except I don't want a boy, I want a man. But you get it. You get what I'm saying. Yeah. And for those that are like introverted and don't really find the need to talk, I hope that me just blah, 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 word vomiting at you is entertaining and like somewhat relaxing to you. That's my hope. That is my hope, is that this is just a delightful, fun little thing to stimulate your brain, That's how audiobooks are for me. It's just other people talking. That's why I love audiobooks. Yes, podcasts, all the things. I'm a talking girl. What can I say? An auditory learner. Okay, we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about FSY. FSY. It stands for the strength of youth. Sorry, there was a large pause there because I actually forgot. Because back in my day, it was called EFY, which was especially for youth. But then they switched it to for the strength of youth, but yet they take out some of those letters because for the strength of youth, the and the of obviously are not there. And so then they just shorten it to FSY. Complicated? Absolutely. You know what? They clearly didn't consult me when they were making that choice, because okay, you know what? It's fine. We're moving on. So FSY is you can just think about it as like a Jesus youth camp. I have a lot of people that listen to this podcast who are not members of my church. So for all of those that are members and are like, what? Why is she explaining this like that? Okay, you know what? This is not for you. You get all the references. You get my lingo. You know all the slang. This is for the people that don't. So we're going to explain it simply to the people who don't know what the crap I'm talking about. So, but I think Jesus Youth Camp is something universal. A lot of people from a lot of backgrounds and a lot of walks of life can be like, yeah, okay, frame of reference. Jesus Youth Camp. I was asked to be a counselor for this. Now, let's rewind to my youth. FSY, EFY times. EFY, you couldn't have paid me to go. You could not have paid me to go to that. I was like, absolutely not. No, thank you. Not my vibe. And I stick by that. And I stand by it. Now, everybody, before anybody freaks out. I did have a good time, okay? I do not regret going and being a counselor, and I would do it again, okay? All that stated at the front. But it's still not my vibe. It's just not my thing. It's not my style of learning, but I see its place, and I can see that it has like a lot of benefit to the people whose style of learning, and like this is something that is really amazing for them, and it's okay that it's not that way for me. It does not take away any of its value for other people or just the experience itself. It's okay. Not everything has to be about you and for you. And I think that's all right. So basically what you do at EFY or FSY now is you go and you're put into what's called companies. So in the US, specifically in Utah, there's so many members. There are thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That it's running like a well-oiled machine. Okay, this is a paid job to be a counselor for EFY. My youngest brother did it, and that's how he met his wife, because she also did it, and they traveled. They like went kind of all over the US, and each week they got a new group, and you're not paid very much, I will say, but you are paid, and you do it week after week after week after week during the summer for 3 or 4 months. I think it's 3 months. And it's a high energy, exhausting job. I don't know how he did it. Actually, I would love to talk to my brother about that. Maybe we'll have an episode with me and my youngest brother, Jeffrey, because I would love to pick his brain about FSY. Because again, I never did it as a youth. That was just not my thing. I was forced on a lot of church Jesus camp situations in my youth, okay, because of my parents. Go listen to my Trek episode. Me, 3 weeks post knee surgery, having to go on freaking Trek. Hated my life. I'm so upset. Still to this day, I'm like, yeah, that was not the move. That was not. You need to take an inventory of your kids. And, sometimes you do need to push your children. I think you need to, as a parent of teens, tell them, sorry, this is what you're doing. But I think for me in that time of my life, that was not the move. That was not the move. It caused a lot of resentment, anger, issues. Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to ask my parents. Maybe it's too sensitive of a topic for them because they're definitely the type of people that are like everything Jesus related and church related is a good opportunity. And I'm not saying that is bad. My parents are the most giving, kind, generous, amazing people. But maybe this is why I am such an advocate for not everything's for you. Not everything's an amazing experience for everybody. Because I did not want to be there. And I did not have a good time. And I wonder if maybe in a future day I could talk to my parents and be like, hey, listen, if you could take it all back, if we could go back, would you make a different choice? Would you let me have stayed home and recovered from my knee surgery rather than making me, be toted around on a freaking rickshaw in my bonnet and bloomers? Nah, I know my parents so well. There is not 1 ounce of them that would say they'd go back and let me stay home. Even though I was 17 or 16. It doesn't matter. No, I was there because why would I... we can't take away the spiritual experience of others who were pulling my rickshaw. Oh my gosh. No. Okay. We're getting distracted. Going back to FSY Youth Jesus Camp, and you get put in these companies, and in Utah, it is this well-oiled machine. It is, you go to classes, and fun fact, my other brother also met his wife at an EFY. Oh my gosh. My oldest brother, he met his wife when he was 17 years old at one of these Jesus youth camps. and she lived from, an hour away. We talked about it in my episode with my brother, brother from the same mother. We discussed his little love story. The most Mormon love story of all time was my older brother Robbie. But my oldest brother and my youngest brother both met their spouses at EFY. One as counselors, one as youth. So, it does sometimes bring people together because you got the boys and the girls all together, co-ed. Oh, so much love in the air. So they all get together, and here it's a bit different because here there was like 450 youth that signed up, and then there was 150 leaders, I think. Does that equal 600? 450, 550, 600. Yeah. Thank you for being here while I did that mental math. Yeah, because there was like 600 people total. Okay. That is how many people were here in Perth doing it. But in the States, like I said, thousands on thousands on thousands of kids are doing this. So it's running a little differently depending on where you're from. But here they got together, and you have 4 counselors in every company. So there was 12 companies. In a company, you have 4 counselors. Each counselor has 8 kids assigned to them. You have 2 female counselors and 2 male counselors. So 2 groups of boys, so like 16 boys total, 2 groups of girls, 16 girls, and then you have 2 what are called ACs, assistant coordinators, who are in charge of the counselors. So they help the counselors help the kids. It's all very organized. You want to talk about organized religion? You will not get more organized than the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I mean that in the clipboard pen type of way. Like organized as in like structurally. We are extremely organized. So there's an order to everything. I think the only other people that I would say are like as organized is probably Seventh-day Adventists, which I know you probably all thought I was gonna say Catholic, but no. Have you guys seen Seventh-day Adventists? Am I saying that right? Advented? Oh, we're gonna have to look that up after. The Seventh Dayers. Ooh, I hope that's okay. I just nicknamed them that. Hopefully that's not offensive. Anyways, they are very organized, especially in South America, okay? They've got some amazing stuff going on. We do a lot of interfaith stuff with them. So, very cool. Very great. Awesome religion. Love the Catholics too, okay? We're not knocking on anybody's religion. If you love something and it makes you, strive to be a better person, we are never going to discourage that, no matter if it's a Jesus-loving religion or not. It doesn't matter. All religions are welcome here, all right? But, if we're talking organized, I love an organized religion. I love standard expectations, same around the world. Love that stuff. And the Catholics are good, but honestly, Seventh-day Adventists, they got a lot going on. That is truly remarkable and incredible. I'd love to go to one of their camps. I think that would be very well run. I think we would both be impressed by each other's camps. So, in a company, you have all these people. Well, I was an AC. All right, so I was in charge of the counselors. Now, Cameron, my dear sweet friend that I made, she was also an AC, and that's who I had dinner with tonight. Oh, she's so lovely. Absolutely incredible. And she will be on the pod. She's moving in a few weeks, so once she gets settled and everything, I'm probably going to have her, if not on this one, definitely my sex ed one, because guess what? She's a midwife. Yeah, amazing. And a nurse. So cool. Where was I going? This is what happens when you get me at 10:02. 10:02, okay. I was an AC, Cameron was an AC, and we had our group. And let's see, day 1, they get there, they get their luggage. We were staying at some student accommodations, so we get everybody in their rooms, on their floors. Definitely, if this is a church group, okay? No boys and girls allowed in each other's rooms. We establish all the rules, all that. Then we all like meet together, and honestly, I should like pull up the schedule so I could see what the crap we did. It was the longest week of my life. Can't remember any of the details. Except but each day was an eternity. That I want you to know. Um, but the first day, I think it was just like getting to know your groups, because with your counselor, the groups of 8, you're like these small groups, and you have like little devotionals in the morning. So they'd wake the youth up at like 6:45. You have a little devotional until 7. Then the kids got ready for breakfast. Then they would get ready for the day. Then we would all meet together as a company and then have a spiritual thought together as a company for like 30 minutes. Then all of the companies, all 12 of them, would all go together. We were doing this on a campus, a college campus. So we were like using their stadium, auditorium in their classrooms and stuff. So I don't know how they do that. They rent them out? I don't know. But we're using the campus. So we walk from our accommodation to the campus. It's like a 10-15 minute walk. With literally just 450 kids. It was crazy. It's like herding cats. So we're in the stadium. So all 12 companies now, all 450 kids, all 600 people are in this auditorium. And then we have like morning devotional, and like music is played and dances, and like it's fun, great vibes. Then in the afternoon, they have classes where they just like learn a bunch of, inspiring things. Everyone kind of taught different things. There was one that like really stood out to me, because obviously I attended as well. Uh, there was this guy in one of the rooms, because no one here is paid. Nobody is paid to do this. This is all volunteer. I took a week off of work, literally 7 days pay, because I was there for 7 days, 2 days in advance to get the training, for just the leaders, then 5 days with the kids. I was there that whole time completely unpaid. And so was every other leader. 150 leaders completely unpaid to do this. And it was hard work. So in and of itself, I just think that is such a beautiful thing. The sacrifices that people are willing to make for youth and like to give them a good experience. I think that's awesome. I think it's really cool. And I was really happy to be a part of that. Well, anyways, this dad, because they had speakers and stuff that were asked, he was talking about how his son had gone to FSY like 2 years before or something, and he had come home from FSY feeling really, really motivated, and this like 15, 16-year-old announced to his dad that he was going to run a marathon. And his dad was like, "What?" "Okay, sure you are, kid." He's never run in his life, his child. And then all of a sudden, he, the next day, was like, "Hey, I signed up for a half marathon in like, a month or something." And so that next day, when he signed up for that marathon, he set a training schedule for himself, and he started training for this half marathon. And his dad, just talked about how crazy that was, that just overnight his son started training for this race. His son ran the half marathon, and then like a week later he's like, "Hey dad, like I signed up for a marathon." Again, this kid had no prior running experience at all. And then also his dad was like, "Oh, is it even healthy for a kid your age to be like running this much?" So his dad then helped him train for these marathons, for this marathon. And that was such a beautiful story about how he would wake up with his son at literally 3 in the morning on Saturdays for his long run days. And he would wake up with him, help him like make his protein shakes, and then he would drive the car or his scooter or whatever to the different points all along the route, so he could give him his water and his hydration and just all of that, so he could like help his son train. And just how much him and his son were able to like grow their relationship because of his decision to train for this marathon. So then his son runs this marathon. Great, amazing. And then he never runs again. But instead, what he did is he took his training schedule where he would wake up, um, you know, like early morning seminary is, I think, here at 6 in the morning. So he would wake up at like 4 in the morning, run, then come back, eat breakfast, shower, and then go to early morning seminary at 6, and then school at 7 and all that. So that was his like marathon training schedule. So he kept that schedule, but this time, now that he had finished training and done the marathon, he now applied that to studies. And so he would wake up at 4 in the morning and study. And then on Saturdays, he would do these like long haul study days. And it was just the most inspiring story. It was like, who is this kid? And it was really cool to hear his dad's perspective of him saying that, being like, I had no idea who this child was. Like, this child was changed by FSY. Like, what in the world? And then his kid ended up getting into medicine, like medical school. So, what an inspiring story. And of course, it had this like beautiful message to it of, how he prayed and he would do his scripture study and stuff in addition to, the marathon running and all of these things, and how he just like grew so much as this teenager. And it was such an inspiring, cool story. I was like, wow, I feel motivated after hearing this. Like, should I train for a marathon? No, I'm gonna that will not happen, but I do think it'd be cool. And if yeah, maybe one day. Never say never. You know what? I did try. We all know my running journey. We all know I tried. 6 solid months I tried to get on that train, and I just don't have the trauma for that. All right? I do have a lot of like just trauma in my life, as does everybody, but the nerve damage and the dead friends and stuff like that, I think does add to the lore, but not to the bank of trauma needed to find running enjoyable. So instead, I will find my solace in pole dancing and chair dancing and group activities like Zumba or Pilates or even group, water aerobics. I'm a group girl, and you will not catch me at a group run club. You want to know why? Because I can't run and talk. So it defeats the whole point of doing a group activity. That's the whole thing that I love about like a Zumba or a pole class or a chair class, because I can talk while I do it. I'm there to hang with my friends and do something I like and move my body and have exercise. I can't do that when I'm heaving, when I'm gasping for air, when my lungs are on fire and my freaking shins hurt. No, I can't. And you guys that can run and talk, my heroes. My heroes. No, I can't. I am in so much distress when I'm jogging. And then also, because truly I do have the nerve damage not on my side, I cannot feel my legs. And you think that would be a benefit to me because like, oh, then you can't feel them hurt. No, that's not quite how my nerve damage tends to work. My legs are freaking numb. So it's like when you have a dead arm, when you like sleep on your arm wrong and then it's like dead, and so then like it almost makes it more painful because you can't feel it. Yeah, kind of similar situation. So I'm still able to like feel the pain of the shin splints, but then I just can't get like I don't have the feeling in my legs itself. It's awful. And then I trip so much because I can't lift my foot. You know what? I don't need to defend myself to you. I don't like to run, and that's okay. And I didn't like Trek, and that's okay. And FSY isn't really for me, and that's fine. Because there are things that I love. And you know what? We need diversity in the world, and we need people who like certain things, because imagine a world in which someone didn't love to be, being on a computer programming. We wouldn't have the world we live in. We need people that love that. We need people like my dad and my brother who just really love that, because I don't. I don't love that at all. Oh, can we go back really quick to the fact that my dad is one of the most introverted people you'll ever meet in your life? Isn't that wild? Isn't that crazy that, like, I'm 50% of that man? And this is me. Jabbing? Goodness. Jibber jabbering. That's not actually what I wanted to say, but that's the word choice I guess I went with in the moment. Yeah, me talking just blah, 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 blah. Yeah, 50% of my DNA comes from a man that's like, whose key phrase is get to the point. Who truly believes if it could be said in less words, that's the way it should be said. Who never raises his voice for anything. If anything, he gets quieter the more angry he is. I did not grow up in a home with a father that yelled, which I am very grateful for, I have to say. Growing up in a home with like a male figure, my father, who did not yell and like exhibit anger in that way, was really formative to, I think, how I view masculinity now. And I think of that in a very healthy way, because my dad does not react with like spouts of anger, yelling, anything like that. No. It's very calm. It's very collected. Like I said, if anything, you get more quiet. Like, dad's angry when it's like, oh no, he's not, like, it's quiet, and it's like, that's enough. You're like, yes, sir. Yes, that is enough. It was in the silence that the anger just existed, but he also is not an angry man. My dad's favorite, not favorite movie, I think it is a movie, Pollyanna. My dad's favorite game is the happiness game, which I think this is, again, going to give you insight into me as a person and, like, why I am the way that I am. Because although my dad being an introvert probably gives you zero insight into me, in fact, it's probably very confusing. Pollyanna, a happiness game. I'm Googling this right now so I don't get it wrong. Okay. Oh, it's called the Glad game. So the Glad game is an optimistic philosophy from Eleanor H. Porter's 1913 novel, Pollyanna. Oh, it's novel, that's what it is. It's a favorite book. Where the main character finds something to be happy about in every situation, no matter how dire. It serves as a self-resilience building coping mechanism, encouraging a focus on gratitude and positivity to overcome adversity rather than ignoring it. So, yeah, the Glad game is to find the reason for gladness in every even unpleasant situation. For instance, being glad that they didn't need crutches. Now, this is very much, I would say, not just my dad, but my mom is an endless optimist. So both of my parents valuing above all else gratitude, service, and just good, positive attitudes, I think is what formed me into who I am. I think that's also, my mom is the biggest extrovert that you'll ever meet. So, opposites attract. It starts to all make sense. You're like, oh, okay, I got my brain from my dad in a lot of ways, but my ability to gab and my just like general personality, all my mother. I also got my looks from my mother. I am a carbon copy. Me and my mother, we sound exactly the same. And we could just go on for hours and hours and hours. And we love hanging out with the girlies. That is my mother. That is me. And, my dad is like, why do I need anyone else? Your mom's my best friend. Like, why would I need to hang out with anyone else? Meanwhile, my mom has different, she has her hiking groups and she has her hobbies, and then she also like volunteers and she does all this stuff and she works and yeah, my mom does it all. But it's because she loves it, and she's like a social person, and that's how I am. So, but both of my parents are extremely optimistic to a fault. To a fault. Oh my gosh. Yeah, imagine. I'm sure you can. Being a moody teenager, upset about something, and then you have both of your parents being like, but, you know, is there a way that we can be grateful? No, I'm in the freaking hospital. I'm having knee surgery at 16. Like, no, I'm not grateful. What a miracle. And I'm like, no, I don't want to hear about the miracle. And then here I am as an adult, and I'm like, wow, my life has just been so full of miracles. Yeah. But super grateful for my parents, for, the attitude of gratitude, as we always said growing up, that they taught me. Because I will say, what is that saying where it's like there's no situation that can't be made worse by complaining? Meaning, like, you can always make it worse if you complain, so you might as well, like, not complain, because, like, you don't want to make a bad situation even worse, or a worse situation, like, just terrible. Like, it can always be made worse if you complain. Now, granted, I love to complain, but within reason. I feel like a stressful situation, having two parents that always look for the good and look for the positive and look for the next step of, like, okay, this is the situation that we're in, so instead of, like, dwelling on it and being upset and just, torturing ourselves for the mistakes that we made or whatever it was that got us in this situation, like, we are going to formulate a plan, and we're going to be grateful for the plan, and we are going to move on, and we are going to fix the problem, and we're going to be capable instead of, like, dwelling in the anger and the upset. I think that that's a very valuable skill that both my parents have, and what really brings them together and makes them extremely compatible is that is a huge core value in both of them, and it is something I think truly that's, like, instilled in me and my siblings. Like, we are all very much the type of people that you would want in an emergency because we are not going to make a bad situation worse by, like, freaking the freak out. And we have varying levels on that. I try my very best, and I do think, compared to some, sometimes I do need a minute to, like, be upset, but I have been in, like, some really tricky situations, and looking back, I'm like, you know what, I'm really proud of how I reacted to that, because I reacted how I would want to react, and I learned a lot about myself, in those moments where, I miss a flight and it's like 11 p.m. or I'm stuck in the middle of the woods with an ATV that's stuck and where there's no GPS and we have no cell signal and, like, it's cold. Those are the moments that you learn a lot about who you are and also about who you're with and who they are, because at your most stressed, at your most fatigued and tired, like, that is who you are as a person, and that is how you react. And in all of those situations, I can look back and I can say, you know what, I reacted exactly how I would want myself to react in those situations. And I think it's because my parents always did. They always reacted in such a good way. We did not dwell on the upset for very long, and even, when tires were popped and life-threatening situations, you would always have either my mom or my dad, either one or both, always being like, let's everybody play the glad game. let's look for the positive. So, anyways, don't know why I got on that tangent, but I did. As always, this podcast goes where it needs to go. Okay, FSY was good. I was inspired. I had a stressful week with a lot of kids that I had to wake up very early and I had to stay up very late with them. And, it was exhausting being with 30, how many? 8, 16, 24, 32 14-year-olds all week. But can I tell you my favorite part? My favorite part of the entire thing, and the reason I feel like I went, because I actually originally told them no. When they asked me to be a counselor, I said, I'm so sorry, I don't have time for that, nor do I really want to. But then I was like, okay, well, what if I can like influence some youth? I love hanging out with teenagers. They're so fun and funny. But again, I was stressed about work and I didn't know if the schedule would work. But I was like, you know what? God will always make a way. And if I prioritize God, God obviously prioritizes me. Like, this is the least I can do to give back. And also, I love Jesus. So, you know what? Yeah. And I think I can be a really good influence on kids. So, because I don't hate them. I do enjoy their company. So, anyways, my favorite part of the entire thing was on the second day that the kids were there. It was very obvious and evident to me that quite a few girls in the group had eating disorders, or just disordered eating. Quite a few of them were not eating any meals, and, you know, it was just very clear to me, as someone who dealt with that at that exact age for years, that was very, very clear. I can spot that from a mile away. And oh my gosh, it just like broke my heart, because I was like, if there was just one thing that I could go back and tell my younger self, it would be, just don't do it, girl. I do think that my eating disorder like did form me into the person I am today and makes me so passionate about positive body image and even just like body neutrality. And because I went from being so miserable to seeing the other side and realizing that how I look is the least important part about me, and how I make others feel and who I am is so much more important and is actually like a representation of who I am, not a measurement of my value, because my value stays the same no matter what. And I feel like that those lessons came through like the hardship, but by no means do I think that the eating disorder I had needed to go on as long as it did to learn those lessons. Like, no. It was really rough. And I saw this in these girls, and it just like made me so sad, because I was like, oh, doesn't it just suck that like even a decade later, girls at that age, they're still like, are we ever just gonna get past this? They're still struggling with the same things that I was struggling with. Isn't it supposed to be with each generation we like get better? But no, it seems like the eating disorder situation, like it just continues just perpetually. So I started bringing snacks. I raided the logistics office. They had a bunch of muffins and granola bars and apples and whatever. So I started rating that after every meal, and then I would, when we got together as a group, I'd be like, okay, who didn't eat? Like, you need to eat. And all week that was just kind of my thing, was being like the mom of the group. I'm always the mom of any group. I love that role. But I made it quite a big deal that these girls need to eat, and I just talked to them a lot about like my experience and like what I've learned about my body, and just talking to them like really positively, but also like being real of like, I know that it seems like this is the most important thing, but it's not. And like talking to them, helping them understand their value and their worth, not only to like everyone around them, but like to God, we believe in Heavenly Father and Heavenly Mother. And so I'm like, your Heavenly Mother is not like sitting around being like, I wonder if people think I'm pretty. Like, no, she's a freaking God of this world. Like, she is all powerful, all knowing. She is like creation embodied. She is beauty, and she is everything. And we are from her. She is a part of us. She's part of our DNA. And I'm so proud to be hers. In the same way that I'm proud to be my parents, and I see, this is where it's going to tie together, guys. how my parents like taught me to be positive and be grateful in like every situation, and like that has formed me and my thinking. In that same way, like the parts of me that are divine and infinite and worth more than anything this earth could give me, like that is in me, and that is from, I believe, my heavenly parents, and especially my heavenly mother. Like I am modeled after her. So anyways, I told this to the youth, and just like all week long I just like tried so hard to help them understand how important it is. We need food because that food fuels our souls, and then it fuels our bodies so that we can go after our passions, and we can play sports, and we can dance, and we can be a good friend, and we need food to do that. And anyways, at the end of the week, like nearing the end of the week, it was really cute because the girls were like, watch this, I'm gonna rage bait Nikki. And they would of course say it like that in front of me, and they'd be like, I'm not pretty and I didn't eat lunch. I was like, you are rage baiting me. But what made me so happy was on the last day, starting at breakfast, every single one of the girls that started off the week not eating, and that I, was consistently on and making sure that they were, had snacks, and that they had what they wanted, that they had water, that they had everything. Every single one of them, oof, I'm like gonna get emotional. They like all came up to me and they asked me for food like all day long. They were like, hey Nikki, do you have a granola bar? Do you have an apple? Do you have a banana? Do you have a muffin? And they were like smiling and excited to eat. And oh my gosh, that just like made me so happy. It makes me emotional to think about because these young girls are going to change the world. And they can't do that if their entire world is about food and how small they are and what boys or women or whatever think of them. Like, that is such a... No wonder women have not taken over the world. This is why. It's because we've, like, narrowed our view into the most, like, the least important part. And it's like, oh my gosh. That is so dumb of us. We're way smarter than this. And yet it's so easy to do. It's such an easy mindset to get into. But, ladies, we can't. We can't do that. Not anymore. You're grown women. You're grown. There is not one part of me, when I think of my friends that passed away, when I think of Maddie, there is not one part of me that has ever thought, like, I wonder what jean size she was when she died. Man, I really wish that she was smaller. I really wish that, she was so pretty because she was, like, so thin. Do you know how stupid that sounds? Oh, I miss her because, like, she was just so small and petite. That's so dumb. We don't talk like that. So why do we live like that? Why do we live like that's the most important thing when it's not the words that will ever leave the mouths of those who love us? Like, I miss my friends because of who they are. Like, I miss Maddie because of the life that she just breathed into every room. Her laugh, her sass, her smile, her hugs, and how strong they were, and how willing she was to hug. And I loved how willing she was to talk with me for hours and all the things that she had to say. And every part of her is worth missing. And not one part of me has ever once thought about her body size. And also, on that same vein, the amount of times that we take pictures and then we, like, tell our friends or our family to delete it because we looked ugly in that photo. How sad is that? Because there is not enough photos in the world that I could have of Maddie to feel satisfied. Like, I wish that every moment of every day we would have taken a photo together so that now that she's gone, like, I could look at that and I could, like, remember her. And there is also not one part of me that looks at these pictures where my friend is hugging me and laughing with me and just with me, where I'm saying to myself, oh man, my arms are so fat in that photo. Because that's not what I see when I look at that photo. I see me with my friend who I care so deeply about, who's not here on earth anymore. There's no part of me that thinks about her body or my body when I look at those photos, except for the fact that, like, we were hugging and I miss her hugs, you know? So why do we waste so much of our time not taking the photos? The photos that everyone will cherish after you're gone. That you should cherish now because you're beautiful. And if we can, as women, figure this out in our adulthood, then maybe the youth and children of, the rising generations can have a chance. But I think the reason that it is a perpetual problem is because the women still make it a problem. We don't grow out of it. We don't grow up. We don't mature. We don't broaden our perspective and our view, and instead we keep it so limited to a freaking telescope when a kaleidoscope is available to you, full of colors and life and everything. But instead you just pinpoint your life into the least important part. That's so sad that we do that, and we call it normal. And in some places, in some instances, we reward it. We revere it. It's ridiculous because it is the least important part about us. It is. So I hope that if you are someone that is struggling with eating or with your body image or feeling beautiful, first off, write every good thing about yourself down and then repeat those out loud to yourself every single day. Each and every morning, I want you to positive affirmations. Like, they're not a freaking joke, okay? I did it for years. You're talking to someone who's, like, fully recovered and did the body project, took a whole course on, like, body image and weight management in college, read all these body image books. Like, I'm so passionate about this because I went from, like, the literal darkest depths of, like, being in an eating disorder and, like, having it rule my entire life to a place that's so bright that I need sunglasses at all times. You know what I mean? Like, it's so warm up here. So great. And it was so lonely and sad in that hole with a mirror. That's all I ever freaking looked at. Oh my gosh, the whole world is out here on the other side of that hole. All you gotta do is climb, babe. So, and the way to climb, each rung is a positive affirmation. It's a sentence of truth that you have to walk up. You gotta grab hold and put some footing into it of, I am beautiful. I am a good friend. I am these things. Because you are. Because it's the truth. And then when you can stand on truth, that's the upper ground. Like, that's where the light is. And then you're able to see a whole world. And turns out how you look in your hair and your whatever, it just doesn't matter. Because you're running into the freaking, forest and into the field of wildflowers, and you're just, like, feeling the sun on your face, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm living. It's so beautiful. I'm so beautiful. That is, I think, what life can be if we let it. So if you're struggling, start there. Start with talking positively about yourself. Stop talking negatively. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. It's not worth 1 second of your time degrading yourself, insulting yourself, telling lies about yourself. Don't do that. Stop that. You are worth more than that. You're also smarter than that. And don't let just everything shrink you into the smallest little version. No, you were born to take up space, to be the loudest one in the room, or you don't even have to be loud. You can be an introverted person, but you were made to take up space, to observe others, whatever your role is, whatever your personality type, it's beautiful. And it has something to contribute to everyone around you, and it is a gift to everyone. And I don't need you to be any smaller, and neither does anyone in your life. In fact, shrinking yourself shrinks you in all facets. Like, I need you to be big. I need you to be huge because I need your help. I need you to be able to lift me when I can't run and I can't walk and I can't do things. I need you to be strong for that. So stop shrinking yourself. Don't be small. You were made to be big. Can I say any more cliches? But it's true. It's so true. Just quit wasting your time on such stupid stuff, guys. We gotta stop. Women, together, hold hands. Enough. Enough is enough. Put the mirror down. Put the scale away. You're beautiful. You're amazing. We can seek after, better, healthier bodies. Sure. Absolutely. But, do it in a way that just brings you so much happiness. That's why I go to pole dancing class and why I don't run. Running just makes me miserable. It makes me self-conscious of my body and it brings me pain and I don't like it. Pole dancing, on the other hand, love. Sexy, hot, making friends, loving the way that my body moves. It also brings me pain, okay? It's very, very painful. But I love it and it's fun and it makes me happy and it makes me joyful. And then it's like a bonus cherry on top that I get fit when I do it. That it makes me strong. Because it's not about being skinny. It's about feeling strong. It's about being appreciative of my body and the things that it can do. Tell you what makes you appreciate your body. Going from 100% feeling in your legs to 10%. From going completely able-bodied to disabled. Yeah, that'll make you appreciate your body. And that's not something that I, wish on anyone because it is terrible and it sucks and it comes with so much heartache and I'm in so much pain right now. I need to stop recording and go to bed because my back is freaking killing me right now. But I'm able to walk to my bed and I'm so grateful for that. That's such a miracle. My body's capable of that. That's incredible. They told me that I had an 87% chance of that not happening. So, I play the glad game every day on that one. But yeah, who I am as a person is not ever attached to how my makeup looks, how my hair looks, how cute my clothes are. Yeah, parts of those, can help boost my confidence in how I display myself to, the world and how I present myself. But it's not my value. The thoughts that I have, the words I have to speak, they have meaning and they have value and they're what make me a beautiful person. And you have all of that too. You have just as much as I do. I'm nobody special. But I'm special to God and I'm special to the people in my life that love me. And that's, I think, all we need to be. I don't need to be special to everybody. But I'm special to my mom and my dad and my friends. And yeah, that makes me happy and makes me feel fulfilled. Okay, we have gotten on such a long tangent here and we need to wrap it up. As my dad would say, get to the point. The point is, you're amazing. We are done being women with mature frontal lobes that are freaking spending our time worrying about our weight? No. Stop that. Stop that. What a waste of your time, energy, and talents. Oh, my gosh. That's literally like being given $1 million and then I don't know, only spending like 10 of it. Like, that's so dumb. So stupid. You could invest it into like all these other areas of your life. And you could just like multiply and like be amazing. But no. Instead, you hide it all away and you only focus on like one thing. No, we're not doing that. No, what? That was a terrible analogy. Can I fix it? Okay, I just came up with a better one. That's like having a piano and then you only play one note over and over and over again incessantly. And it's like just terrible. That's not the piano was there to make music, babe. Okay? Our bodies, how they look, just one note. One note on the piano. Okay? But the whole thing was designed for us to learn how to play and make music and create, and like that's us. So like all the other parts of your personality and like who you are as a person, those are like all different notes. And then when you like play them together and you learn them and you focus on each one, but you know, not too much on one, like you give time and space to each, like that's when music is created. That's when art is created. That's when beauty is there. And that's like us. Like when I focus on, I'm going to play this note of like friendship and then connection and this other one of like just all these other things that I have going for me. And when I put them together and I play them, it makes up something that can then be shared with other people. Like this beautiful song of my soul. Instead of just one note played incessantly on a freaking just ding, 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 ding. No one wants that. That's not music. No wonder it's driving you crazy because it wasn't the purpose. Focusing on your body image is like playing that one singular freaking note. No, stop. Stop. Learn to play a whole song because you're a whole person and you have endless potential for music inside of you to be shared with others and just I love you. And I need to go to bed. Go play the song of your soul. I kind of like that. With people this week, okay? All right. I love you. Good night. These have been my thoughts on life because this is Life According to Nikki.